catching up, takes down Malkarok.
And as Malkarok falls, Midwinter immediately is ported over to Siegecrafter Blackfuse to jump in and begin that encounter. Now, Midwinter has a very different approach to Blackfuse. These two guilds were actually two of the first guilds to release videos of the encounter that in many ways define the strategies that other raids and other guilds emulated. And it's interesting how they took such diametrically opposed approaches to the fight. They tank Blackfuse on opposite sides of the platform. They stack the Shredder adds that spawn on Blackfuse, is what Midwinter does, which, again, Method did not do that. And we'll see how that plays out. Method obviously executed their strategy flawlessly. Now it's up to Midwinter to do the same.
Actually, a little disappointed that our observer here did not choose DPS in that particular case. I think that would have been pretty funny. But we'll see how these guys can do here. It is a little bit longer of a fight, but not terribly long. And Method has once again pulled Garrosh in the meantime. They have him down to 35% in his first phase here. Remember, as Ian was saying, he's just an orc right now. So not too scary to have him at 30%. But once he does hit that 10% mark, he does the whole axe into the heart thing again.
Exactly. I think ultimately, on the Garrosh encounter at this point, barring some unexpected slip-ups, it really does come down to that Phase 3 burn. Garrosh is just incredibly lethal. You need to execute perfectly for 60 to 90 seconds to get him down to 1% before you lose to one of his abilities. And we'll see if they can do it this time around as Midwinter catches up in the meantime. So yeah, on the Midwinter side, you can immediately see, as I mentioned earlier, they're tanking Blackfuse on the opposite side of the room. They're tanking him next to the conveyor belt where all the adds come out, such that the mines that activate jump down right into Blackfuse's model, and they can be AoE'd and cleaved down, as well as stunned and otherwise controlled, while also pushing damage on the boss. This is ultimately probably a more efficient way to do the fight overall.
Yeah. Definitely, Midwinter making a couple of choices, like the one we were pointing out on Malkarok as well. They're making a couple of choices here. They've just been going for the faster kills this whole way through, which makes sense in a race. They gave them a lot of trouble on Dark Shaman. They went for a much riskier approach there. The couple of approaches afterwards, they are a little bit risky as well. I don't feel as risky as the Dark Shaman strategy, but like this is solid strategic thinking here. These guys are very, very intelligent about how they're approaching this.
And especially one of the things, for guilds like these, the vast majority of guilds that do this fight, even guilds that are ranked, let's say, 10th, 20th in the world, there are going to be videos that are out there that are going to be strategy guides available. But for these guilds going in, they were learning this fight completely blind and experimented with a wide variety of different approaches. Which turrets do you kill, which do you leave alive, where do you position the boss? And adjusted and adapted as they went, and this is what they settled on. And it's interesting how the outcome of that sort of organic process led to two totally different outcomes that both work equally well for these guilds.
Yeah, there's only so much learning you can do on a heroic boss fight in the public test realm. They stay open for very, very limited periods of time. So, yeah, they had to learn this stuff almost entirely from scratch. And it's honestly, it's really interesting to me up here, just watching these guys, seeing how different the strategies are.
Now, in the meantime, Method is plugging away on Garrosh. They're just getting into Phase 2. They finished that first heart room, and his Whirling Corruption is not yet empowered, so they can just go through, deal with his standard Mind Control, standard Whirling Corruption, and whittle down the boss's health.
Fires have now more or less cleared up over here for Midwinter. Does take a big spike of damage, but no big problem whatsoever. Going to heal right back up off of that. Looking in very, very good shape here on Blackfuse.
So yeah, normally guilds tend to separate the Shredder ad that Blackfuse spawns from the boss himself, because when they're close, Blackfuse will heal the ad. However, Midwinter actually gets stacks of a tank buff very high on their tanks, which allows them to actually stack the ad on top of Blackfuse and just out-damage the heal. Because the tank does a bunch of extra damage to the ad while he's holding him, and they can, by doing that, simplify the positioning, improve their overall damage output and efficiency.
Looking over at Garrosh once again, Method working their way through Garrosh here. We'll have another heart phase here very, very soon. But at the same time, there's still a lot of this fight left. And we're going to start running short on time here soon.
Absolutely. If we do run out of time, which unfortunately may happen, we'll just come down to a tiebreaker. Whichever guild got farthest, whichever guild got Garrosh to the lowest percent will be declared the winner. So it's up to Method really to pull this attempt out and to actually get the kill. Otherwise, we go to a tiebreaker.
Yep, and it does also mean that there is a very real chance for Midwinter to catch back up here. If they can get through the rest of Blackfuse here, he's at 42%. If they can get through the rest of that, finish him off, get into Garrosh, get to that phase, was that phase 3?
Exactly.
That Method got to, and get him lower, they could actually still be able to pull off victory here.
Blackfuse still looking pretty good for Midwinter. It looks like they have 1 death, but overall the positioning is still solid. They're just going through their execution.
Yeah. The room is full of fire, and, well, they don't really care. They're
Fire and
staying where
lasers
it's
and
not.
ball blades and rockets, and that's pretty much what Blackfuse does.
I mean, he is a goblin, so he's kind of got to expect. Things are going to start breaking. There's going to be laser beams and razor blades and all sorts of stuff everywhere, so that's what Blackfuse does. That's what he's all about. Checking in with Method, they're getting pulled back into the heart phase yet again.
This is the Terraces of Endless Spring Heart Room, the second one again, as they quickly rush through, avoid all the missiles, grab the ads, and AoE them down. Now, again, coming out of this heart room, this is where Garrosh gets much more dangerous, and this is where really it's down to serious business. On Midwinter's side, yeah, they're still plugging along. Looks like they got Blackfuse down to 29%. Raid is still in good shape, only 1 death.
And Method is now DPSing on, or doing some damage there to Garrosh. He's going into his little stompy cleave phase of the heart room, which again, they have not had any issues with this particular phase. I don't expect them to start right now, so should be able to get him out of there, and then very soon we'll be able to push him into phase 3.
Exactly. You see some of those devotion auras, other raid timers going out to help mitigate the damage. Spirit Link put him down for Method. You pretty much use almost all of the cooldowns that you have available just to heal through this damage so that you can maximize DPS on the boss.
Yep. There they are out. Garrosh at 36%, and he'll be transitioning soon. Meanwhile, Midwinter has Blackfuse at 24%. Going to be getting into that execute range. We'll be able to start picking up some DPS on him. Tank getting very low there for a second, but is able to heal him back up. They do have that 1 death still, just that single 1 death, so they should be able to finish this off. But it does start to get really dicey at this point in the encounter.
Alright, so now on Method's side, they're deep into phase 2 in Garrosh. That first empowered whirling corruption is going out. You can see all the ranged members of the raid are pretty far spread out, so that the ads spawn apart from each other and can be picked up and killed again apart from each other.
Yeah, those ads have to be separated or they will get very, very scary very quickly when they start dying, and you cannot let them accidentally wander in on the tank and all die together because, well, then you'll all die together. That's just sort of how that turns out. Garrosh at 18%. We'll be getting into that transition phase here very, very soon. Siegecrafter at 15% now at this point and falling very, very quickly here. They do have to kill off a few more. They're going to kill off that 1 missile turret, and it looks like they may actually wait on the other 2. So should not be. Yeah, they're just going to go ahead and let those go. Still just 1 death. Blackfuse at 11%, and the Crawler Mines are going to start coming out. They're going to have to kill those off. 1 more death there for them, but I'm feeling confident in this kill here from Midwinter. I believe that they're going to have no major issues. As long as they can avoid this bunch of damage right here, they should still be fine. There is 1 more death in that, but 9% on Blackfuse. They did actually have another battle res available that they went ahead and used, so should be good. Back
over on Method's side, now they're again into phase 3 on Garrosh. This is where they wiped last time. This is where they ran into those difficulties. In phase 3, Garrosh, obviously visibly transformed. His power bar goes all the way up to 100. Okay, quick. And yeah, they just need to power through this. It's basically they need to get him down to 1% health so that he can transition into phase 4 before they run out of time. Now in phase 3, he continues to do empowered whirling corruption, spawning ads there.
Big hit on the entire raid of
deals with some serious raid damage of Blackfuse, but looks to be holding it together.
Yep, 5% now.
5%.
They're almost there. Just a little bit longer. Got to hold it together. Another one does fall, but 4% on Blackfuse. 3%. I'm feeling good. It's looking good. 2% on Blackfuse. Just a little bit longer. They just got to hold on. They're doing fine. They're maintaining 1%, and it's looking like Midwinter will down Blackfuse.
All right, so now both guilds are now on Garrosh with 4 bosses killed. Obviously, Method quite a bit ahead, but they're in phase 3. This is where they ran into trouble last time. They already have 2 dead.
In fact, Garrosh at 9% now. He's very soon going to be transitioning into that phase 4, that sort of defeated Stormwind vision that Garrosh has. Oh, but there's a couple of big mind controls going out You're going to need to take care of those.
The empowered mind control in phase 3, very difficult to deal with.
Yeah, especially when you get this spread out. 4% on Garrosh. They just need to get him a little bit farther to get into phase 4.
Yep.
They do have 2 dead. 3%. 2%.
1%. And now Garrosh is kind of a jerk. He doesn't transition instantly. He takes some time to go through a little bit of RP, and while this is happening, you can still wipe. Ads that are running around can still kill you, but it looks like they've got this under control. So now we're going to go into Garrosh's 4th phase on Method's side, the heroic-only phase. This is his vision of a ruined Stormwind.
We'll show you what it means to be called.
It's kind of smeared a little bit of Shaw all over the place. I really,
as we look around, we can see, this is Garrosh's fantasy of his success. You see folks like Barry and Vol'jin impaled on spikes in the harbor of Stormwind. This is what the heroes are fighting to prevent.
I'm gonna have to sort of question Garrosh's idea of exterior design here. It's not really doing it for me. But anyway, now at 56%, we do have 3 deaths for Midwinter, or excuse me, for Method. They can still very much get through this phase, but it's a very, very hectic encounter. Can you tell us a little bit about exactly what goes on in phase 4?
Sure. There are 3 major mechanics here. So the first thing that's going on during this phase, there's a debuff called Malice that's placed on a random player who you may see with a purple circle around them. That player pulses increasing damage to their allies that are near them. If they fail to hit enough allies, it empowers Garrosh in a way that's pretty much going to wipe you. But if you stay near the same people for too long, you just kill them. So as you see, Method has split into 3 groups in a triangle formation, kind of reminiscent of Heroic Ragnaros last time we were up here on this stage. And the person with the debuff moves between those 3 groups to spread the debuff evenly. Now a bombardment phase begins. If you look up, you see these gunships in the harbor. Again, this is Garrosh Ascendant. This is the might of his horde, raining down fire on the harbor. It also drops one of these iron stars that we saw during the first phase of the encounter that fixates on the nearest player. This needs to be kited around, and it's going to serve a purpose in just a little while. It can be used to interrupt Garrosh when he channels an ability that otherwise cannot be interrupted. So we see them methodically kiting the iron star around, saving it, getting ready for Garrosh to channel his ultimate ability.
Yep. Checking in with Midwinter real briefly. They have gotten him now into phase 2. They're going to start getting the heart phases here relatively soon. They're doing what they can. They're in good shape so far, getting now pulled into their first heart phase, which will be Temple of the Jade Serpent. So Midwinter doing good over here. They're looking good. Method though, Garrosh phase 4 at 23%.
So really, this fight is going to be over one way or another in about 30 seconds. They just need to burn him down, and the question is, can they kill him before they run out of time?
They do have 4 dead, which is a scary situation to be in, but they're getting him underneath 20% into that execute range. Sko taking a lot of damage, but they did manage to heal him up. It is looking very, very solid here for Method. We may see them actually taking down Garrosh here. Meanwhile, Midwinter having a little bit of trouble in that heart phase, actually. They actually wiped in there, but...
So for Method, Garrosh is at 12%. They are spreading out to avoid spawning another Iron Star, and they have that one Iron Star still being kited off to the side. Garrosh is soon going to use his ultimate ability. The question is, can they survive this bombardment? Can they interrupt it? Can they get the kill?
Oh, so much damage going out there.
So much damage.
But they're still in good shape. They didn't actually...
7%.
Excuse me, they lost 1 in that. Now 2 more deaths in that, up for a total of 6
5%.
dead. 5% though.
4%.
3%. Looking good. Getting very close here. 2%.
And now he's summoning these ads. These ads will wipe them if he does not die right now.
1%.
And that's the kill.
Ladies and gentlemen, Method is our victor!
Congratulations to our champions, Method representing the Horde, just coming in under the wire with this epic heroic Garrosh kill.
And of course, very well played to Midwinter as well. They did have a lot of trouble on Dark Shaman earlier, but they still made it to Garrosh in time.
And we can't help but wonder how it would have been, what would have happened if they just taken a different approach to Dark Shaman.
Exactly, just a slightly more careful approach there on that fight. They spent